Hey, Troy, welcome to the show. As a way of getting started, give us a little background on yourself.
So I've been in the telematics industry for, it'll be 9 years in October of this year, two separate companies.
Yeah.
I've been doing the business development role for 9 years. Starting in 2018, middle of 2018, I've been kind of doing a dual role. So a player coach plus business development. So that's always fun. It has been a exciting journey thus far, and just looking forward to 2021. 2020 was a hell of a year.
And how'd you get into sales?
So I've always been in sales. I don't know how I got into it, starting back from when I was in high school doing retail sales. So Finish Line, clothing stores, shoe stores, stuff like that.
Retail.
And just got into the office sales. I don't know how, just kind of happened. Sorry.
And who do you sell to today?
So B2B, so companies that have vehicles on the road, fleet sizes of 100 vehicles and above, so enterprise space type fleets, helping companies reduce driver accidents and increase overall productivity with regards to the fleet.
And who do you call on, though? I mean, who manages that?
So I will call anybody that is a fleet or safety manager to operations to VP level and C-level folks, anybody that is willing to pick up the phone and just have a conversation with me.
Yeah. But they must be hard to find. Is that true? Or?
Sometimes hard to find. In our industry, GPS tracking is not new. It's been around for a long time. So about 90% or more of our business is reaching out to companies that already have the technology in the vehicles today.
Yeah.
And it's talking to folks that are already using it. So our differentiators and, just trying to decipher what is working for them currently and what we might be able to help them out with.
Yeah. So since they already have something, it's kind of
Very
either
difficult.
a swap out,
yes,
or an upsell.
More swap out than anything.
Yeah.
About very few companies that I talk to don't have the technology. When I find companies that don't, it's actually quite shocking because it's been adapted for so long.
Yeah.
So that's a hurdle, right? A challenge. And then obviously the challenges of selling into somebody who's already using the technology today. And you can't, there's no, can't reinvent the wheel. Everybody can put a dot on the map and show you a location of where their truck is at today. So it's really appealing to what's important to them as a user of the system. How do they use it to better their business? And then it's upgrading. I say the word upgrade to something that's more modern technology.
And how do you do that?
So it's finding out what they're using today, how they're using it.
Yeah.
And then it's really deciphering. The company that I work for today, we're really primarily focused on driver safety, because today you have so many challenges with drivers and people, using cell phones in the vehicle today, to not paying attention even more so than ever.
Yeah.
And then you have COVID last year, right? Less people on the road, but more accidents, which is a striking statistics.
Paradox. Yeah.
Right. You would think less vehicles on the road, less accidents, less people on the road, more people are speeding, not paying attention to what they're doing.
Yeah.
So the technology that we utilize or what we sell today is just helping companies, get a better manage on what those drivers are doing in the vehicles in real time, not, so it's not reactive, it's real-time information.
Yeah, that paradox is interesting because Malcolm Gladwell wrote about it in that, like when ABS came out, accidents went up, not down. It's because people were more cavalier,
right?
Thinking that they could stop faster.
Right.
And then the paradox on that was there was a country that switched which side they drive on overnight. Accidents went down.
Okay.
Just people were conscious about the change.
Yes.
And I forget the psychological term for it, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. One of the unique pieces that we have in our technology is we give drivers real-time feedback with an audible alert in cab. So we have a little speaker that's in our device.
Yeah.
So any policies that companies put into place, like 10 miles over the speed limit, if that driver goes 10 miles over the speed limit, our device will actually make an alert, a noise, whatever the case may be. And so, I did something wrong. And it's a very annoying. So the company we work for, we all got devices as employees. So I had a device in my old car. I put some in my teenage daughter's vehicles. And one day I left the office. I work about an hour away from home. So I'm driving on the freeway, and all of a sudden there's just buzzing noises going off in my car. And I'm like, what the heck is this noise? I turned down the radio. What this? Well, they accidentally turned on that audible alert on all of the employees.
Yeah.
So I knew exactly what it was. It took a while for me to figure it out. And then I just pulled the device out of my car, out of the OBD.
So much for obeying the rules.
Well, I mean, we use it for our demo process.
Yeah.
Instead of using our customers' live information, we use all of the employees. This way, everything is, autonomous and all of that.
Yeah. So is it 100% outbound selling?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. We have marketing that, our names on, if somebody does a Google search, we get some inbound flux, but it's not too much inbound. It's mostly all outbound calling. And that's the challenge, right? Is getting people to, pick up the phone, but actually engage in a conversation.
Well, that's it, because they want to view you as a commodity.
Right.
Because because people are keyword based, and if you say, oh, GPS tracking, they go, check, got that. Thanks for calling, Troy.
Yeah.
Give us a call in about 10 years.
Yeah. I take I think is a unique approach is there's no way of not sounding like a salesperson when you make a phone call, so I try to appeal to the nature of, look, I know you get a bunch of phone calls like this on a regular basis. I try to be personable. I try to joke around with somebody who picks up the phone. I'm sure you were waiting for Troy to just give you a phone call right now, right?
Hallelujah, it's Troy.
Right. And that seems to work for me and my personality. And I think that's why I've been so successful in this role. Being 9 years into this role, I have finished in the top 3 of sales every year since 2013. So 2013 was my first full year in the role. And I just think it's talk about value. You already know people have the technology today. Talking to high C-level or VP level people that, care about their vehicles and care about the safety, but they care about price and cost. And everybody in 2020 with COVID was looking at ways of cutting costs without, taking a step back and letting people go and all of that. So the company I work for, we have a really good product at a very inexpensive price because we manufacture our own hardware here in the States, and that helps out a lot.
And, when I talk to people who are great on the phone, it's really like 90% personality.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much like they're professional comedians or gadflies but they've developed a style.
Yeah.
They're comfortable talking to strangers and tickling out a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, I try to work with, so I have a team of 10 business development reps as well that I work hand in hand with my director. So that's that player coach, plus doing the outbound calling myself. And that's what I try to appeal to with my team is, just be yourself on the phone. Just act like you're talking to a friend. Yes, they're C-level folks, but we're not essentially always talking to people that are wearing suits every single day.
Right.
We're talking to people that have been in the trenches with their guys before, worked their way up through the ranks. So just have a conversation. Don't be afraid.
And that's easy to say, right?
Yes.
Well, and because calling a stranger, it's pretty far up there in the fear category.
Yeah.
For people who haven't done it.
Yes.
And then there's the people who are callous and they just go through the motions, read the script, and hope for make up for it in volume.
Right.
But then you get people like yourself who make it fun.
Yeah.
You look at it as a challenge.
Well, that's just it. I think you have to make it fun. Accept the challenge.
Yeah.
You know, accept the challenge. It's a grinding job. I mean, you know, it's day in and day out making, 40, 50, 60 dials every single day, getting hung up on multiple times a day, not getting or getting into those conversations. But I pride myself on a couple of things. One, I'm very, very organized. Some will call me OCD. But I feel being organized helps you manage your business much better. You know who to target, you know who you're going to schedule meetings with based on previous conversations. So it makes you get through your day much easier, and then again, it's just, being yourself on the phone and trying to, just get into those conversations by not trying to just jam down your product.
So let's take the hardest part, like somebody hangs up on you. How do you process that?
I call them right back.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I will.
Sorry, I think we got disconnected.
I think we got disconnected. And I get people in my office that laugh when we're in the office. They will start cracking up like, I can't believe you just did that. And I'm like, okay, but if they hung up on me again, okay.
You're no worse off.
What did I lose? And then they're not going to remember hanging up on me 2 months from now. So I'll put a note in the system to reach back out to them in 2 months. And some of my best conversations have been with the people who have hung up on me first, who then I have called back in a month or two, and I've had excellent conversations with and have end up scheduling an appointment with them and end up bringing them on board as a customer.
Well, I think that does a couple things. One, it reprograms you that that's not rejection, that's not personal.
Right.
It's not about Troy. It's about them being in a bad mood or viewing you a certain way.
Exactly.
When you call back, they also feel a little guilty, right? Because it is kind of rude.
Yeah.
It's pretty far up there.
And I look at it too. I mean, the more and more technology has come aboard, over the several years, and all the robocalling that we get on our personal cell phones today, there are times where, yes, I do hang up on people because I'm either busy at work or I know it's not a real person on the other end. It's that computerized voice, waiting for somebody to pick up. But there will be times where I'll actually pick up the phone and just, be compassionate, but say, look, I understand you have a job to do. I do what you're doing. So I get it. So what is it you're trying to, give me your, swift pitch in 30 seconds or less, and let's see. But most likely, I'm probably not interested, but I'll at least give them the opportunity.
Well, that's it. Because, I mean, we're all in market for something.
Right.
And if it happened to pitch you on that, or at least create some curiosity and interest in that.
Right.
Where there's a new deck, a new grill, a new motorcycle, car, whatever it is, we may be in market for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if I could tell somebody, hey, this is what I think you could change to help you out going further, just because I know I'm in your shoes. I do this every day, just like you do.
And are your customers on a contract with their current vendor?
Most customers are on a contract with the current vendor.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I try to get out of a prospect too is, look, if you're under contract, just let me know what you think that expiration date looks like. This way I can touch base with you at a more appropriate time. Because, if you're under contract till December of 2021, most likely we're not going to start conversations today in January.
Right.
Most likely you'll start, if you're going to evaluate if that provider has done something to upset you, usually maybe 3 to 6 months before that end date.
And I'm sure there's people within the company that want to make a name for themselves. And by upgrading a certain capability, because I'm sure there's trickle down effects of your product.
Right.
Less accidents, less tickets.
Yeah. Yeah. And it affects so many different divisions within a company as well.
No.
That our goal is to try to get more than one person in that meeting, a person from each division, like operations and safety and fleet, and then if we, by the good graces, get the financial guy in the first meeting, that's a bonus for us.
And is that first call, that first conversation, the very hardest part? Or is that just the start?
From a meeting standpoint, I say that's the start.
Yeah.
I work with a sales rep who does the demos, has the authority to do all the negotiation and pricing, has the, beeline to our C-level, our finance team, our CEO, our VP of sales to get more of the approval things done. But it's having the right people in the meeting too that can make a decision. So how do you get to that decision maker and understand who that decision maker is? It's by just asking the questions when you're on that initial phone call to set up that meeting. Who else is involved in your process? What's your path to veto? The system you have today, how did that get implemented? If we were to send you a contract today, who would be the person that would be signing that contract so we can get that person's name on the contract? Different ways of trying to get that information.
Yeah. And what do you think separates you from other reps? I'm sure because you're seeing a lot of other reps.
Yeah. My organizational skills, definitely. And my ability to just talk to people and not afraid to ask questions that I don't want the answer to. So I think a lot of people, instead of asking the question that they're afraid might not be the answer they want, they don't ask the question. And then when you get into the meeting, you find out there's really no opportunity right now. So I'll just ask questions, and I'm very thorough about it because I want to be able to sell. And I want to put good opportunities and sellable opportunities in front of my sales rep. So at the end of the day, we're getting our brand out there. We're increasing revenue for our company, and I'm making money.
Yeah.
Let's
get on the organizational skills, because sales reps typically are not very organized people. What do you mean by organization for you? What does that look like?
So we use Salesforce as our CRM program. I update all my information in Salesforce. I have the multiple contacts I use. I put those in Salesforce. I make sure our address is correct in Salesforce. The number of vehicles is correct, updated. If they're under contract, who they're using, I make sure those fields are in there and our disposition is closed out appropriately. I manage less than 150 companies at a given time. So I'm a big advocate of, if you have 300, 400, 500 leads or companies in Salesforce, how are you truly managing that? You're not. Something can slip through the cracks. So by avoiding the slipping, I minimize the number. And then as I'm making calls, and let's face it, in sales, not everything is accurate that you're getting, whatever leads you're buying. So if I identify that there's a company that's not in my segment, I'll get that over to the right team. Or a company that really doesn't have vehicles that we thought might have, I'll close it out, get it out of my name, and then I'm always moving leads around,
And is this a rolling 150 or is it a permanent 150?
It's a rolling 150. So as I'm getting rid of companies that don't fit our criteria,
Yeah.
I'm then getting a hold of my sales ops person to say, hey, throw another 20 more leads in my name. You know, small increments, not, hey, give me 100. You know, I try to do it in small. So I've been working with our team since August of last year to help them get as organized as they possibly can so that they can just, you know, improve their productivity as well.
And like when you come in the morning, you know, even 150 is a lot, right? You open your screen, that's more than one screen, right?
Yep.
How do you sort them? How do you prioritize
So
them?
when I get in the morning, the first thing I'm doing is I'm, you know, going through the number of calls I made last year. I have a spreadsheet that I keep track of my daily calls, number of appointments I'm booking, et cetera. And then I have a list of about 20 to 25 tasks each day. So those are companies that I have already identified that I want to try to get in touch with. And then I have lead views. So I have an open lead view, suspect lead view, prospect nurture, and then closed under contract lead views.
Okay.
So I segregate those each out. So I'm not looking at a full list of 125.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a list of maybe, you know, like today, my open lead view is, I think I have 5 companies that are open. And in my mind, those are companies that I just have not connected with yet. So I don't really know where they stand. Do they fit in my suspect? Do I think they have vehicles? Well, I haven't even confirmed that they had vehicles yet. Suspect leads, you know, I have 40 some in that category today, 45, I want to say it is. Those are companies that I've identified have vehicles. I just haven't had a conversation with somebody there to let me know they have 110 or more, who the right people are. So I'm still trying to figure that company out. Yeah. Prospect leads are people I have had conversations with. They have 100 plus vehicles. I'm just now trying to schedule that meeting with that person or multiple people. Nurtures are companies that I know fit all the criteria. They just don't have tracking or have tracking. I know who they have. I'm just not quite sure if their contract expires or if they're a month-to-month contract. Yeah. So, and then my closed under contracts.
And have you found email at all effective in that cold first step?
Email's tough.
Yeah.
Email's tough. I don't think there's a right answer to email or a perfect answer to email. Yeah. I have tried since March of last year, so the beginning of COVID, I have sent out more emails. Subject lines are very tricky. So I have used just the subject line, that person's name. I have found that I get more opens. I don't get a lot of responses. So I don't know. Email is difficult. We're trying something new with our marketing, video email. So a small 30-second clip to just, and I've, like I said, I've been having issues with my computer for audio and stuff, so I'm having a hard time getting it to work. We did a meeting last Friday with our team, so we shared everybody's video. We watched them, we laughed, we gave pointers. We voted on who we thought was the best video. They won a gift card for Amazon. I have talked with my director and my marketing person, and I said, when I get it fixed, my approach is going to be funny. You know, surprise, it's Troy. I've been trying to get a hold of you. I thought maybe this would be something different. Give me a call back. Yeah. See if it works. I don't know. What do you got to lose, right? I mean, I think with email, it's short and sweet, not those lengthy emails, to the point. And my point is, if it's C-level per people, it's, hey, I can help save you time and money. Are you interested in talking?
Yeah. Well, that's it. I can see in your space, the phone is really the way, because there's no active pain.
Right.
It's latent pain that you have to turn into active pain.
Right.
And that's really hard to do with a single email.
It's, I guess I've always found it difficult. It's hard to do with the conversation too, but you know, at least if you get somebody to pick up, like I said, I've always just, I joke around, try to ease, just the wall, try to break that wall down right out the gate, and I think, and I try to tell people, or my team too, as well, is like, got to understand that they're not sitting at their desk just waiting for a sales guy to call them. And we're not the only salesperson that is calling them, not in this technology, but in other stuff. Everything that they do daily. They're getting multiple. So what can you do to differentiate yourself? Well, try to be just, hey, I know you're busy. I know you get a ton of phone calls like this every single day. Hey, I know you're probably ready to pull your hair out because I'm probably the 15th person from a telematics company to call you today. Yeah. And usually that seems to work sometimes. Nothing's perfect.
Nothing's perfect. Hey, appreciate your time today. Where can people go to connect and follow you?
I'm on LinkedIn, Troy Tolino. That's really the only social media that I have is LinkedIn.